Hi Sandy, I figured I'd do a video for you to help you along with Vincent Vega when you go home, especially since you're not able to ride him right away. I'm going to start at the very beginning so that we're doing groundwork for a warm-up, and then we're doing under saddle work. So doing groundwork, I break the horse up into head and neck, shoulder, rib cage, and hindquarter. When I want to bend and flex the head, the horse shows me how relaxed he is, and he's soft to the pressure. So here's where I'm waiting. There we go. I'm waiting till he gives. But when you're doing exercises that involve softening the horse and not pulling ever on the head and with anything, not pulling with the lead, not pulling with the bit, we set a pressure. An ounce of pressure, and you have to wait. You have to be patient. There we go. Set of pressure. That's feel. So we want to have a soft feel with the horse. If they know a release is coming, timing of that release, I'm going to set a pressure. When he moves, I release. A horse has to know that the release is coming. The horse learns from the release, not from the pressure itself. So that's soft feel and the importance of release. Next, I work with the disengagement. Disengaging on the ground is going to be similar to disengaging in the saddle. I have a lot of the same aids. My hand slides down, comes up toward the cantle. My energy comes in to disengage. Important tips. My line where I'm walking, that line is a 45-degree angle to the line of the horse's spine. My hand comes in, I step in toward the horse's back toes, and then the haunches move and not the shoulders. The haunches, I'm disengaging the hindquarters. The next is moving the shoulders. I tell my clients to stay on the side. I'm going to add some energy to the horse. Here you'll see that he will step over and in front of that inside foot will step over and in front of his other foot. That is good. That's forward movement. If he starts doing a backward movement, we want to get the horse forward instead. Add energy. If the horse starts walking off, I have to get in front of the horse, in front of the eye more. If I'm here and I give that horse energy, I'm going to stop the horse. For example, I'm going to give him energy and that pushes him away. That's a horse that's respecting you on the ground. I'm going to add energy here. Back him again. That energy comes in. My eyes look back, way back there, instead of at him, way back to where he's going to go. My feet move, his feet move. I breathe in, and my energy comes up, and he moves. That's what I want from his respect on the ground. So, next on my list of groundwork is going to be bending the rib cage. The rib cage is important, and basically that's a circle where the horse looks to be in a half moon shape. Here I'm walking forward, not backing up to get out of the horse's way, but I'm walking forward around in my own little circle, and I'm asking for him to bend and look at me, release. Bend and look at me, release with my hand. I look across his ear because I want him to go forward. I don't want to be looking back here. I want to be looking over here. Walking in my own little circle. Eyes are looking at his, across his head, across his ear. And I keep this hand. This hand will bring the energy up. Bring it up and over the haunch. Bring it up and over the haunches. When I take my energy away, he knows that I'm no longer pushing. My energy is coming from my core. Here's a little backup. He responds to that pressure in the backup. I apply the pressure. He moves one step, I release. So that's going to repeat itself. A horse moves, I release. The horse moves, I release. You can make all of these groundwork exercises faster or more difficult as you get better with them. For example, I'm going to ask him to go into a trot. That's making this exercise more difficult, increasing the speed. Okay, so when would you use groundwork? You would use groundwork if you brought your horse somewhere and they were uneasy or unfamiliar, possibly neighing and calling for buds, or possibly they are not looking at you, not with you. You wanted to redirect your horse to get them so they're like this. Their ears are on you and back and listening. So again, groundwork's meant to redirect your horse. We move the horse's feet to get their mind. That's why we have groundwork. That's why we have other under saddle techniques as well. We want to get their mind. So some of these techniques you don't use every single time, but you have to have them there and the horse knowledgeable about them so they're in your tool belt in case you need them. So I practice these techniques. Okay, so now with a bridle in his mouth, all of the same groundwork techniques apply. If I slide my hand down and open my hand, he gives to that rein pressure lightly and willingly. So I want him to be light and willing in the mouth, to bend his head. Developing that soft feel. I want to only bring in an ounce of pressure and wait for him to respond and release right away. That's how I build on that softness. So what I'm doing here is I'll slide my hand down and pick up. Slide my hand down and pick up. Slide my hand down and pick up. Aware of how light I am with the hands. Again, that applies to the leg aids as well. How light are you being with your aids? I talk about the hierarchy of aids. It's going to be first coming from your seat, then your legs, then your hands. Not only that, but your pressure will be ask, tell, demand. Asking being very, very light, telling being moderate, demanding being the most pressure you can apply to your horse, such as a whip, a whip, a whip. You know, as much pressure as you can apply to get your horse to, let's say, go forward when they don't go forward. You need a demand. You can't give all of your leg pressure and give up. You need to have a demand. So, I've shown you giving with the head, neck. Next is going to be disengaging the haunches. Slide my hand down first. I know, and then bring my leg, my body, my core will turn. My leg will come in. And I'm going to do my body, leg, hand. Body, leg, hand. Body, leg, hand. The horse is bending all the way. My hand's direction is coming in to the seam of my pants and up to my hip. You can see that it's coming up to my hip. My leg pressure is behind the cinch. So it's not where it lays at the cinch, it's behind the cinch. That is the aid that will talk to the haunches. My leg at the cinch talks to the shoulders. My hands only offer bend. They do not move the horse. My legs will move the horse's body. So next will be moving the shoulders. Now when I talk about moving the shoulders, it helps to be forward first. I'm going to have some forwardness. I'm going to do a circle. Forward first. And now I'm going to apply my leg aid at the cinch with a neck rein. My horse will move over. Move the shoulders over. So he takes a step, I release. I apply again, he takes a step, I release. My body suggests a turn by moving my core, and then my leg. Body, leg, hand. Body, leg, hand. Body, leg, hand. It's all timed up. My hands are doing a little more. I have a little bit of an opening rein on this inside, and my neck rein, it comes in right here on the neck, touching the neck. The neck pressure, rein pressure on the neck helps move the shoulder over. An opening rein helps move the shoulder open. These two aids really help move that shoulder over. A little bit more on riding a circle. When I ride a circle, I again use my hips to ride forward. I have bilateral hip movement. I'm riding my horse forward, pushing with each hip. And when I want to start to bend in on a circle, I'm applying a little bit more of an outside leg to do this tighter circle. Make that position 2. To keep my horse's shoulder from falling in, I have a little bit of rein pressure here at position 1 on the inside. You can see that the horse is wrapped. I'm wrapping the horse around my inside leg. Riding the horse in a circle, and then my hands kind of form this triangular shape, whereas the bit in the mouth is the point of the triangle, and my 2 hands are the lower points of the triangle. So I'm going to ride this triangle base around the circle. Release. Around the circle. Release. That. Ride around the circle. Release. I have a slight open rein and a slight neck rein. I'm riding the shoulder around. Riding the shoulder around. Riding the shoulder around. I'm riding the rib cage around with my legs. Riding the rib cage around. Riding the rib cage around. So when I pick up this inside rein and he drops his nose, I release right away. I like that finishing touch with Vega. When you pick up this rein while he's moving in a circle, he drops his nose. That's a really good finishing technique on him. So I release my hand to tell him that that's what I wanted. I release that pressure. That's bending the rib cage, riding that circle. When I ask for the back, I first do my body. My pelvis, instead of pushing forward, you want to see my pelvis here. When I'm riding forward, I have a nice rounded back, and my seat is pushing the horse forward with a rounded back, and I'm pushing. As if I have a big belt buckle and I'm riding it to the horn, I'm riding the horse forward. When I back, I ride the horse back. Do you see how my pelvis went from this angle to now this angle to ride the horse this way. My seat, my legs move back slightly, and my hips do move in a bilateral movement. The horse takes one step at a time, so do my hips. The last aid would be closing in on both reins. They just close in and both tighten softly, an ounce of pressure on the mouth. We never pull, only an ounce of pressure. If we have to pull, we have to reevaluate what our body might not be doing for us, because the horse always wants to be following our body. Okay, more on moving forward into gaits and in the canter. So when I want to move this horse forward, I have to round my back, and I'm going to push him forward, 2 legs on, and he will move forward. So now that I have that energy flowing, I start to push with my seat, left and right, left and right. So the more that I breathe in and activate my energy and also increase my hips movement back and forth, I can get him to really work up into the next gate. Slowly but surely, I am going to ride him to the gate. And now that I'm riding the gate, don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Now that I'm riding this gate, my hips are saying, yes, this rhythm, this rhythm, this rhythm. You'll get there with your hips. Your hips have to be soft. You'll get a new one and it'll be soft. So, riding that gate. Now let's just say that you're riding that gate and he starts to get trotty. Or if you're inverted, getting up off the saddle, he might go trotty. If you're trying to avoid his movement, he's going to try to fill in the gaps and figure out if your seat comes up in the air, he's going to come up in the air with a trot. So let's say you need to correct that. Number 1, breathe. Number 2, check your bilateral hip movements. Number 3, we want to apply our leg aid and our hands so that we give him the gait aids. So the gait aids are inside leg at the cinch, inside hand up to the outside shoulder. That's the trajectory of our inside hand. See how when it comes up and it crosses his neck? And I might use a little outside rein to keep him from going to the inside. But the leg keeps him from going to the inside. And my hands tell him to bend like a banana in order to get the correct frame for gaiting. So this is the same aids someone might use to do a leg yield or a side pass. But in this case, we are so light with these aids, we're just asking for him to bend in this rib cage in order to drive up into gait. So I'm going to ride him forward and apply these aids. Release when his head drops. There we go. I keep my leg kind of on him so he doesn't quit gaiting. I'm going to make sure he rides forward. He kind of wants to quit and be lazy. I got to keep on him. If I need help with my body, we don't want to fall into the circle and cause the horse to go out of bounds. I weight my outside leg. I weight it. You can't see that, but I will weight it like this to counterbalance. I'm going to be giving him these aids to leg yield. So I'm going to be giving him these aids to leg yield. That's what that looks like. My hand comes up to the outside shoulder. This hand comes open. And my leg at position 1 or at the cinch here. I counterbalance with my leg bracing in this stirrup over here if you need to. That really helps with the leg yield. Or when you're going around in a round pen to help balance and not drop into the rat hole. This is what we want to avoid when we ride circles, because this is easy to do. We want our body to be upright like a tree and rigid torso. Our spine can flex here at the lumbar, but we're not falling over into a sinkhole. We are upright, shoulders level. If you have to picture 2 little cups of water full on your shoulders, that's what you need to visualize. Sometimes I visualize putting my shoulder blades back into 2 little pockets on the back of my shirt, so that you can keep your shoulders up and level. Keeping that back round. Sometimes you tuck your seat tailbone out underneath you, tuck your belly button in, and you can really feel the how to round your back. Tuck your belly button in to your spine, or tuck your tailbone under and ride your belt buckle up to the saddle horn. Aids for the canter. So when we want to canter, I'm going to use, for the first time, an outside leg. And when I ask him to canter, and I'm going to go counterclockwise, I'm going to use my outside leg here at position 2. I'm going to ask the haunch to take a tiny step over toward, this is going to be the middle of my circle. So that haunch takes a tiny step over. And then when I ask to canter, I bring in my inside leg at position 1, and I ride the horse in one final energetic leap into canter. It's going to take a few times to depart from a walk or a stop, but it's going to be easiest to depart from a gait. But you want to give your horse the clear canter cue and not run up into the canter from gait. Mostly, you do want to just sit there and ride quietly with your hands and your legs. The horse should just canter without much help from you. You give them the cue, they canter until you tell them to stop cantering. One thing is, if your horse drops the shoulder, weight your outside leg and pick up your inside aids, just like you did with the gait. Pick up your inside aids, inside hand up to the outside shoulder, inside leg at 1, and you can pick your horse up out of the sinkhole and ride a canter. But again, fix your body, then fix your horse. Your horse will mimic your body.